It's Sunday and I need to clean this house up. So let's make some cake toppers instead. So first we have to grab our paper supplies that we need. These are the colors that I need for the project. And I definitely need this. Key ingredient right here. And now we head on over to Design Space, and I already have this project saved because I've made it a bunch of times. So I'm basically just going into the same project and just kind of reformatting it and updating it a little bit. And this is going to save me some time, so I'm not recreating the same project from scratch each and every time. So this is the last one that I did. I'm just going to go in, I'm going to select them all, kind of move them around a little bit, make sure I only have one copy on my screen at this current time. That way I can delete the things that I don't need and I don't accidentally cut something from a previous project. So I'm just going to go in here and update the ages and the name and kind of reformat all of those details that I need to do, because I'm going to make 3 cake toppers this go round, and they're all going to be the same thing, but they're all different names and all different ages. I tend to do most of my projects this way. I'll save it in a way that is easy for me to just go in and update a couple of things and then just duplicate the project and just change those small details. So if you find yourself making the same things a lot, it's a great idea to kind of save it in a way that you can easily update it. Once you make a lot of the same items, try not to save all of those, because do I really need to save 3 different versions in here? No. But I do need to just save the one so I can just keep making a copy of that one. And then I'm just going through and adjusting the sizing and making sure that it's lining up okay. I did have to go in and fix this project a couple of cake toppers ago, because when I originally made it, the size was fine, but I noticed that when I would go to cut it, it wouldn't fit more than one on a piece of paper, and that's not economical for when you're making supplies, especially if you're doing it for a business. If you're just doing one here and there, then that's fine, but I needed to make sure that I was maximizing my materials that I'm using, because y'all know paper ain't cheap. So I just had to go in and just adjust things a little bit to make sure that when I do go to print these, I can get more than one on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going through, adjusting, making sure everything looks good, looking at my orders to make sure I'm lining up the right age with the right name, because that's really easy to mess up if you're making more than one at a time. I will tell you, designing is probably my least favorite part of making a cake topper, and it may just be just out of, I don't know, necessarily like fear or inexperience. I'm more of a hands-on person. I like to actually do the crafting. So my favorite part of crafting is, number one, having an idea in my head and then making that idea come to fruition. But I love the hands-on piece. I love, I don't know if that's just like the artist in me. I want to use my hands. I want to touch the paper, put the things together. That's so much more rewarding for me than fiddling around in the computer. But, you got to take the good with the bad. So I got to do this part in order to get to the part where I actually get to do hands-on. So do a little offset. And then I just duplicate the same name again. Again, it's all about just making that one thing and then just duplicating and adjusting it to your needs. And I'm going to do the last name, which is Romeo. Let's get this right here. Do my offset. That's the one thing I like about Cricut. When you do one offset, it'll keep the same settings for the rest of the offsets that you make in that project, which is nice because I don't have to memorize or think about what I'm using. I typically use the same offsets for most of my things anyway. I like the way a certain size looks behind letters, and then I like the way a certain size looks behind the cake topper itself. So this is the front piece of the cake topper, and that middle part is going to be an acetate sheet, so you're going to be able to see through this cake topper, which I think is the coolest part about it. So I just got to do an offset for the whole thing. That way I have something to glue the sticks to. So there is a method to my madness, I promise. Just going to put this all together. Looks good. Change that color because we're going to do everything on the same color. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And that's going to be a completed cake topper. This section along with the gray image on the top, and then that yellow piece, that's going to be my acetate sheet. And then I do the same thing again for the other two toppers. So pretty simple once you do it again. And oh, you know what? I just realized Easton is not turning 6. It's actually Romeo. So this is good. This is good that I am paying attention here. Otherwise, I would have been really mad if I cut this whole thing and got it wrong. So let's try this one more time. It's going to be Romeo that's turning 6. Have you guys watched Stranger Things? I watched all the seasons that have been out. I didn't watch it when it first came out, though, I'll be honest with you, because I'm kind of a scaredy cat, and it freaked me out a little bit in the beginning, so I didn't watch it all right then. I watched it later on once I realized that it wasn't really that scary. It's definitely gory, and there's some scenes that I don't feel comfortable looking at. I probably wouldn't let I don't let my kid watch this either. I have a 9-year-old. So she can watch when she gets older. I don't like scary things in general, and I remember when I was little watching scary movies on accident and having nightmares forever, and I don't want her to have to go through that. So I'm going to shield her from those things as long as I possibly can, and she doesn't really have an interest in them anyway, so that's a good thing. She's not like stressing me out about trying to watch stuff like this. She did want to watch Wednesday, but I had to put the kibosh on that. That's definitely not a kid-friendly show, so we'll wait till she's a little bit older. Excuse me. All right, so we got Easton, we've got Romeo, and then we just got one more to do. We're almost done here. I know. It's been like 9 minutes. I'm telling you, this is my least favorite part. It's just monotonous, and by the time I finish doing this, I'm like, dang, I'm ready to get into making something. I know some people really like the design aspect, and they love playing around in the computer, and Design Space isn't that hard to use. I think it's okay. It's not like it's not horribly user friendly. I mean, it's friendly. I figured it out. But there's a lot of things on here that I really don't ever use, and I've been using this Cricut for 5 years now, 4 years now. It's very similar to other programs that I use. So very similar to Canva, very similar to even like PowerPoint and Word, the way that it does things. So Design Space isn't horrible. Isn't my favorite? No. Do I think it could be better? Yeah. But it is what it is, and it gets the job done. So I'll hold on to it. I probably will never try Silhouette and their Design Space situation, only because, like I said, I'm not really super tech savvy, and I'd rather just learn one thing and be done with it than to try to go back and forth with different programs. So for those that can do that, like, I am super jealous that you can go back and forth and you can figure out all this stuff. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is about me. I don't know if it's my age, if it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I need to take a course. I'm sure somebody's offering something somewhere. All right. So let's stop this screen record here, and let's get to the next one. You guys are seeing this all like in real time. This is what I'm doing. This is me trying to get all myself together here to show you guys how to do this. All right, so now let me go through my mats and try to maximize my space. So when you go to make something in Cricut, you have to go in and play around with how things are set up on the mats, because otherwise it will make you use way more paper than you need to. So I went through and I fixed things, and I'm gonna start cutting the next things. Okay, so I'm gonna put my paper, get my paper ready. Always use a brayer, always. That'll help kind of adhere the paper to the mat, which is important. Okay, otherwise you're not gonna get a good cut. And put this into the Cricut. This takes a long time too, the cutting process. Man, I'm telling you, I spend most of my time designing and cutting. And then, here we go. So nice and smooth. Look how nice that came out. It came out this smooth because I overcut. And now here we are. Let's put it together. Oh, this is my favorite part. Woohoo! And of course, I'm hyperlapse, right? I don't work this fast. I wish. No, I really don't wish I worked this fast because I enjoy the process. So I don't mind taking a long time. Use a little paper transfer tape action. Barely Arts glue with the small precision tip. That's my favorite. And then, ta-da, we are done. 3 of them done. Nice and crisp. I really like these. And that's it. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.